welcome to Apex Reviews. Today we're going to be installing some red LED Footwell lights purchased from West Coast Corvette. The installation wasn't too difficult and the directions were pretty easy to follow, so let's get started. As we open up the box, you're only going to get this one page of instructions. You're also going to get some alcohol wipes, some adhesive, and these two LED strips. I chose red, but they do have more than just the one color. The red LEDs are going to replace this white light. The LEDs will install somewhere on this panel. Here's a picture of the passenger side. Let's get started on the driver's side. Now I'm 6'4" and I couldn't find a way to get my head under that panel in a way that would allow me to work on it. In order to make this video, I used the front-facing camera and I put my phone down on the floor mat. That turned out to be more of a useful tool for replacing the LEDs than it did for actually making the video. By putting that phone down there and using the front-facing camera, I could see everything I needed to do. We're going to start off by using our pry tool to remove these two front-facing clips. It takes a bit to work them out. I was trying to be gentle. You may want to purchase new clips in case you destroy the old ones. It did take a little bit of energy to wiggle those suckers loose. There's a third clip in the back corner. You may or may not want to remove that one. It's not necessary. Next, we'll pull the light bulb out. The original light came out almost just by me touching it. It just takes a little bit of wiggling. I believe the directions say to rotate it counterclockwise. Once you have the light removed from the panel, all you have to do is push this clip in and remove the light from the plug. I used my tool for that. It's not difficult. Here's a picture of the light. If your LEDs work, you won't need it anymore. I decided to remove that third pin in the very back so you could see what the whole panel looks like. This also made it easier for me to install my LEDs. Next, I decided where I wanted to mount my LEDs. I chose near the back of the plate. That way they weren't visible when you were sitting in the seat. The wires attached to the LEDs are definitely long enough for you to decide where to put it. I decided to put the LEDs real close to where the original light was, and it seemed to fit perfectly. First, we're going to wipe it down with a little bit of alcohol, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the adhesive. When you do put the LED strip onto the panel, make sure you have that connection on the correct side. There is plenty of wire there to reach around, but there's not enough wire for you to mount it on the wrong side. The adhesive is a little bit runny, but it wipes off fine. The adhesive did a good job. You could slide the LED a little bit just to get it into perfect place. But then once you started pushing it firmly, you could feel the adhesive take hold. I'm not worried about these LEDs falling off. Next, I decided to plug them in just to make sure they worked. I put the panel back in place just to see how they looked. I wanted to give it a test before I put it all back together. I think they look pretty good. Next, we're going to be taking apart the passenger side. This one's a little bit more difficult. You can see this panel has a crease in it. You're going to have to bend a piece of plastic up in order to remove it. There's a little bit of ducting involved with this panel. Like before, you're going to remove these 2 plastic pins so that you can pull the panel down and get to the light. You can see here there's a little bit of plastic tucked behind the carpet, and this is where some of the foot paneling comes in. There's also a pin back here that you're going to need to recognize for when you reinstall the plastic. Removing the original white LED is the same process as your driver's side. It just twists and pops out. Again, I decided to mount my red LED close to where the original light was. Make sure you put that wire on the correct side of the car. Same as before, clean it off with some alcohol and then apply a little bit of adhesive. Peel the sticky backing off the back of the LED, apply it where you want it on the panel, and then push it down firm. It's real easy. Again, I wanted to plug this one in and turn it on to make sure it's working right. Looks good. Putting the passenger side back together is a lot more difficult than the driver's side. You've got to make sure that little pin fits in that little hole. I went ahead and put my plastic pins back in so that I could feel for where they'd be installing back into the car. There's some grooves in the metal that you can feel them pop into. It takes a little bit of finagling and some elbow grease to try to fit that plastic piece back in there. Be patient with it and make sure you don't break it. In the end, I think it turned out really well. I've got another video where we're going to be doing red ambient Footwell lighting. That'll be on while we're driving. So take a look at that one. Thanks for watching.